Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Moto. And while typically when I head off-road I'm on two wheels, it's fun to experience what life is like on four as well. And if you want to go out and get yourself, or maybe a child or family member, an easier machine to ride than a motorcycle from a balancing perspective, a Honda TRX 250X is a great way to go. Spanning from young age riders, lightweight, all the way up to full-size adults such as myself, this little machine has been providing off-road accessibility for decades at this point. And while some of you might look at it and think, okay, this is a fairly old school style way to go off-road, some people are going to love the simplicity and straightforwardness of this little air-cooled 223cc four-stroke engine. So today we're out in the San Bernardino Mountains riding this little machine from Honda. Now, I've always been curious about sport four-wheelers, sport quads. I'm going to kind of interchange quad, ATV, and four-wheeler throughout this review because I grew up riding a four-wheeler. Essentially, my mother made the decision, okay, are you going to ride dirt bikes or four-wheelers? And a four-wheeler is what appeared under the Christmas tree when I was a young kid. And I spent hours and hours and hours, days and days and days ripping around my little, I think it was a 90cc, just Chinese brand piece of junk that I ran hard. And I love that little thing. I used to imagine that I was riding around, being a NASCAR driver, doing laps around our property. I would do pretend pit changes and everything and pit stops. And it was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of memories for me being on a quad. This one, as you're seeing it, interestingly enough, is actually not even legal for sale here in the state that I'm riding it. So I don't really know what's going to happen if we get stopped by the federales. But for all of the rest of you in the other 49 states here in the United States of America can buy this for about $6,000 from your local Honda dealer. And admittedly, that seems a little steep to me. I feel like there are ways to get out on the trail for a good bit less than that. However, you do have to factor in the H tax, as I like to call it, the Honda tax. This little machine is going to start up and run properly for you for decades and decades and decades. There's a reason why you see so many of these out on trail. In fact, yesterday I was riding around kind of getting acclimated with everything, and I passed a whole bunch of riders on these. I don't know if they're rental machines or if they were personal or what, but this used to be the 4-tracks, and then it was the 250EX, and now it's just the TRX 250X. It's a pretty straightforward formula here. We've got independent suspension up front, some basic Showa shocks in the front and rear, some basic kind of do-it-all Maxxis MS13 tires, disc brakes, and then in the back just a single shock and drum brake, and interestingly, a longitudinally mounted engine. That makes it so you don't have to have a chain, which is pretty cool from a maintenance perspective, and a power delivery perspective. It's longitudinally mounted, which means the output shaft goes from the engine right back here to the rear diff and then spins the rear wheels. Just a two-wheel drive machine here. We've got a 5-speed manual transmission with reverse and a little feature they call smart clutch. And I had forgotten that that was a feature on this, and I had been riding it throughout the last few days. I thought to myself, man, this has a really tractory first gear. It doesn't seem like I can get it to stall. But that is because apparently you can't stall it. So we're going to put that to the test a little bit here today. Now we're going to talk about what this is like to ride as a full-size rider as myself. Now obviously some people purchase these for young children. You can see very clearly here that Honda does not recommend them for anybody under 16 years old. I will go out on a limb and say not every 14-year-old is the same. And the fact that you can legally drive a car here on roads in the States at 16, actually less than 16 with a parent, I wouldn't have any problem putting my younger child on this. So sorry, Honda, but I was certainly ripping machines bigger than this when I was that age. Interestingly, I've never even needed to use the choke to start this machine up. It starts instantly every time with this electric start. Very nice. And it's got a grunty little engine too. So let's get out there. I'm going to release the clutch. Look at that. We're stopped. Okay. So you really can come to a stop. Oh, with this clutch. That's cool. All right. Now, you are joining me on a particularly rocky section of trail. We are climbing up some of the mountains here on the edge of the San Bernardino Mountains. You can see the desert down that way. So we're going to just fingers crossed for no punctures here. See how these Maxxis tires can do. I just realized, are these tires called MS13? Isn't that like a big gang that was a big point of contention a few years ago? It's a bit awkward. Either way, you can see the first gear just tractoring us up here. About 5.5 inches of ground clearance and suspension travel. And because this is such a narrow wheelbase and short wheelbase, I'm able to negotiate some of these bigger rocks that I can't fully clear, get around them quite easily. Now, this degree of rockiness is not exactly what I had envisioned my ride to look like here today, but this is one of the beauties of riding a quad as opposed to a two-wheeled machine. I'll be fully honest, I would not be comfortable riding a dirt bike on this route. I could do it. I'd be kind of tracking along the left here and trying to stay on as hard a rock as possible, but I'd be hoping and praying that my tires stay in one piece. And it's just, you catch one big rock that you didn't notice and can throw you off pretty easily. But if you're any sort of rider, but especially more of a novice rider, more of a casual rider, you've got kids or a wife or even yourself riding something like this, I don't have to worry about tipping over. And with the smart clutch, I can come virtually to a stop right here. I can come fully to a stop, decide my line, and then get back on the accelerator. I don't even need to feather a clutch. So is this my ideal form of riding with this machine? No, but I wanted to do some exploring today, and this is getting me there. There we go, things are opening up a little. I can short-lived, but a little bit of open space there. We'll get some more open riding here in a little bit. I just really want to be gentle on my tires as this is the beginning of my day of riding. I don't want to cut it short. But let's talk again about that Chinese elephant in the room, all those cheap quads you can get off Amazon. I can't fully say that I would be confident being out here in the middle of the national forest on my own with nothing but a SATCOM and a cell phone to recover me, being on a machine that isn't from a known brand like Honda. Is there a strong chance that everything would be fine with one of those? Yes. I mean, I have to fully admit that I rode my little Chinese machine, and this was 20 years ago or so. I rode it all the time and rode it hard, and it was reliable. But again, you need to be considering just the risks that you want to take if you're out doing riding like this. A little bit of a rock climb right here. Which route do we want to go? Let's go right here. Yeah, baby. While I'm crawling through this rock here, let's take this opportunity to shout out the video sponsor, Cardo. For those of you who don't know, and a lot of you on the motorcycle world will already know this, but Cardo has an OHV department, or ORV. I apologize, it's probably ORV. They do essentially the same sort of headsets and units that they do for on-road motorcycle, but kind of tailored for the off-road market. So it's one thing, yeah, I've got my Cardo Pack Talk Edge here on my helmet, and it's nice having that for riding all day, because if I'm in cell phone signal, then I can get calls from my wife or notifications on my phone or anything. But also I can just listen to music while we're kind of in more open stretches of riding, taking it easy. It just kind of takes the edge off of being on the machine all day. But another super cool product they have in the ORV section is this headset that they have. I think I'll have the name right here. I can't, oh, that's a gnarly trail. I'll have the name right here in front of you when we're showing it to you. But what's really cool about this, especially when we're talking four-wheelers like this, is if you're out riding with somebody who, like a child or something like that, you have them going on a trail, maybe you're in your truck, maybe you're on your own machine or whatever, but if you're not wearing a helmet, maybe you're in a side-by-side or something like that, you don't want to wear a helmet, you can use this headset to still talk to somebody who's on the quad. So say you've got a kid here, you put a Cardo Pack Talk Edge in their helmet, and then you wear the headset, and you can talk to them whether they're doing laps on the track or they're riding in your fields or anything like that. So it's a pretty cool aspect of the OHV or ORV department here of Cardo. I've just got my Pack Talk Edge here today. I'm appreciating that. It's a big shout out to them. They've definitely come in clutch for a lot of our side-by-side stuff. So continuing to use them here. Negotiating a fairly intense rocky decline here. And again, having that easy clutch is nice because you kind of just leave it in first gear. How do I want to do this? Let's go just like, oh fudge. Whew. Keep our weight back. There we are. Like I said, just kind of give it acceleration when you need it and then coast on down. Man, I did not know this is what I'd be doing today. I thought this would just be a cool trail to explore, get ourselves up and back around to the truck at some point. We are crawling. Now we're finally to some trail that is smoothed out, not as rocky. This is more what I was looking forward to doing today. Now, the ergos here on the 250 are definitely awkward for a larger rider, full adult rider such as myself. I find myself scooting up on the seat and I end up arching my back a little bit too much in order to kind of be in an engaged riding position. And this makes it so after an hour or so, then I realize, oh man, my lower back is really tight. I can't really sit upright the way I would on a bike or just a more expanded ATV. Woo! Love that little wheelbase though. It's just so great for rotation. Now, being just a little 2-valve, single-cylinder 4-stroke, not very large, it's not exactly gonna wow you with the power, but you can see I'm up here at higher speeds, and I'm able to get it up about as fast as I would be comfortable going on a wheelbase this small. It certainly starts to get squirrely once it's you're getting up to those higher speeds, up to the top of 4th and cruising through 5th. And then you've also only got so much suspension to work with too, so you don't want to be coming around and hit some super big whoop and then be put out. It's cool seeing these big pillow rocks up here. Wow, that is a seriously large cell phone tower there. Holy cow. Did I go the wrong way? Was I supposed to go left back there? Let's see. I'm probably just getting blasted with radiation right now. Oh, I think we're good. I think it's the right way. There's so many different routes. How am I supposed to know which one to go on? Alright, I guess we're just going to have fun. Actually, this is a good opportunity to show how reverse works on here. Get down into neutral, and then there's a little flip. Pull it back, and then you can push down. It's just kind of a safety switch. And then just right back into first. Oh, that goes to nowhere. What in the world? Gosh darn it. I hope I have enough traction to back up here. I mean, maybe it kind of makes its way through there, but that seems dicey. That's very single tracky. All right, let's see if we can get back here. No, we cannot. I think I'm just going to try to walk it sideways up this hill here. With a wet and ready to ride weight of just about 390 pounds, you can manhandle this pretty decent if you're a full-size individual. Definitely comes in handy in little sticky situations like that. This is just a little carbureted machine, so no sort of fuel gauge or indicator. We do have a petcock. We're dealing with about dealing with about 2.5 gallons of total fuel capacity. With about, I think it's 0.7 gallons in our reserve. These are supposed to be pretty fuel efficient motors. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of super slow idling, and then now we're really opening it up. So I don't know exactly how far we're going to get out of this tank, but I know I was able to ride, I think about 30 miles, 20 or 30 miles yesterday pretty hard. I still had a lot of fuel in the tank, so I think some people online report getting about 50 miles per gallon on average with this. Ooh, these are footsteps. These look pretty large. There's the footsteps right there, a little coyote. Oh, kitty eater there. Pretty crazy how many biomes we have here in California. Out here on some of these sections where we're really able to rip on it, we're seeing the advantage of the carburetor that Honda uses that has a special float that keeps it so even when you're ripping like this, it keeps fuel going smoothly into the engine. Suspension definitely more at home on this sort of road, where it's just kind of dealing with these road undulations, imperfections. This section of trail that we're on now takes us from the lowest elevation back up into San Bernardino Mountains up by Big Bear. And this is a trail that's typically traveled by Jeep crew or off-roading crew. You see a decent bit of side-by-side action as well. And I don't think it's just because I'm getting kind of near the end of my ride, or at least the last third of it, but this section of road is just so bumpy, and it kind of shows that suspension technology has come so far, and the TRX250X is kind of being left in the dust, no pun intended. I mean, you can hop on a Honda Talon, which, don't get me wrong, is an entirely different beast. It costs way more and it's going to use way more fuel. But just from a comfort standpoint, it's an entirely different experience. And I'm not nearly as well versed in the ATV space as I am side-by-sides and bikes, but I would like to become more, and I would like to know if there are other more affordable machines kind of in this price point that do have better suspension, because I wouldn't want to do a whole day ride again on this. It's just, at least on this sort of trail, I mean, it's beating me up. And part of it's just the short wheelbase and lightweight of a quad. There's only so much you can do. Now, if I were just using this to run forest trails, smoother, kind of less rocky, less tore up like this, and more dirt, then I think this machine would do really well. And if I were just running around property, where again, I'm doing shorter stints, I'm able to go a little harder on my body for a shorter period of time, that's fine too. But I get into something like this and I want to stand, and again, the handlebars are low, the cockpit is condensed, so myself, I'm hunched way over trying to stand. And I do think a part of it is just fatigue as well. I mean, I've been out here for a number of hours riding pretty hard, so that's gonna wear on you. The seat is still decently comfortable. Nice bit of squish in there, nice width. I think for somebody 5'8" and below, it's gonna be a really great machine. Once you start getting much over that, it's just a little tight. But still totally rideable. This section of the trail is so cool because it's where it starts to climb back into the mountain biome. The trees start picking up, temp drops a little bit, fauna changes. Whew, well, we are nearly back at the truck and still haven't hit our fuel reserve, so that is pretty impressive. I'll have to calculate the total mileage. It might only be about 40 miles, so maybe we only use gallon and a half or so. Pretty good for how hard I was ripping this thing. And that's what I do need to keep in mind, and you need to keep in mind for wrapping up this review, is most people on a little machine like this are not going to be riding it like this. They're not going to be ripping it all day. They're not going to be pushing it to the limit like I have been. So I give it respect for how well it handled those sharp rocks with our Venezuelan gang tires. There's the truck right there. How well it did on the higher speed sections, how well it did in the heat. I mean, this is a tried and true little product from Honda. So it's fun, it's different, it's unique, and it's storied. And for younger or less experienced riders, I think it's fantastic. And I have stalled it. I thought you weren't supposed to be able to stall it, huh, Honda? Huh? That's okay. We're here. Yeah. Oh, cool. Very curious about it. Now I know. So it's a little four-wheeler through and through. So thank you all so much for watching. If you would like to see more ATV action here on the channel, let me know below. And let me know which ones you'd like to see. I can try reaching out to Yamaha for some of their higher performance ones. We have done some more utility machines before from Polaris. Did we do? No, I guess it's only the Polaris rig at this point. So we could get more from them. Can-Am has some as well. Definitely seems to be more action in the ATV world on the utility side, and I just don't have as much utility to go do with quads. So that's why I'm usually kind of leaning more toward the sports side to do trips like this. But let me know. Let me know what you'd like to see. I'll try to make it work. Big shout out to Honda for giving us some time to rip around on the 250X. Big shout out to Cardo for helping us get out here and giving us communication while we're doing it. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Moto, and as always, ride on.